So inshallah we're going to start out with So we will do 3 ayats of Surah Al-Baqarah today. Ayat number 51, 52 and 53. All 3 ayats are about Bani Israel. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is reminding His favors to Bani Israel in these ayats. So first ayat is partially about Musa alayhi salam, and the second half of the ayah is about Bani Israel, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying what they did when Musa alayhi salam was worshipping Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for a period of time. So we'll just do a simple translation first. Bismillahir-Rahmanir-Rahim. وَإِذْ وَعَدْنَا Musa. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that when we appointed a time and a place, and we'll look into that, for Musa alayhi salam, arba'ina layla, for 40 days. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala asked Musa alayhi salam to separate himself from the people and go to the mount and worship him for 40 days, 40 nights. So laylatan means nights. That includes the days. So when Musa alayhi salam went to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and this is the time when Bani Israel had migrated from Egypt into the area of Palestine. They had not reached the Palestine, but they were staying there, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala commanded Musa alayhi salam to come to the mountain Tur and worship for 40 nights. So when he was gone, in his absence, people made a calf, a baby cow of the gold, and they started worshipping and saying that this is the God of Musa alayhi salam. Musa alayhi salam went somewhere else, but the God is actually here. So they started worshipping that calf. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that when Musa alayhi salam was gone, ثُمَّ اتَّخَذْتُمُ الْعِجْلَ, you took a calf, a baby cow. And you here is Bani Israel. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is addressing Bani Israel that when Musa alayhi salam was not with you, you chose a calf to worship. Min ba'dihi, after him, means after he was gone to worship for 40 days. وَأَنْتُمْ ظَالِمُونَ, and you are the wrongdoers. Then in the second ayat, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, number 52 says, ثُمَّ عَفَوْنَا عَنْكُمْ, then we forgave you. Even though you committed this crime, we forgave you. مِن بَعْدِ ذَلِكَ, after that act you did, لَعَلَّكُمْ تَشْكُرُونَ, so you might be thankful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reminds another favor, وَإِذْ آتَيْنَا مُوسَى الْكِتَابَ, and when we gave Musa alayhi salam the book, Al-Kitab, Torah, لَعَلَّكُمْ تَهْتَدُونَ, so you may be guided. Okay? So these are the favors Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is reminding to Bani Israel, and one of their disobedience in these 3 ayats. Okay? So let's look at the meaning of the ayats. The ayat starts with wa, is, and when. Okay? As I mentioned once before, the word is means when, but it is used when something of the history is being talked about. If something of the past is being talked about, then the word is used. If something of the future is being talked about, that idha is used in the Quran. Both have the same meaning, is and idha, but is for the past, idha something for the future. Idha ja'a nasrullah. Something is being talked about that people will in the future will enter into Islam. Okay? But here the history is being talked, so is id, wa is, okay? So this is for the past, right? So the whole thing is about the past tense, okay? Now the next word, it starts with these three letters, Waw, Ain and Dal, and this means to promise. Okay. Waw, Ain and Dal means to make a promise. Okay. These are three letters, so they belong to the group of the words which call Fa'ala, Babe Fa'ala. We create another word by adding one more letter at this scale. We add an alif between fa and ain. So it becomes fa'ala. So this becomes wa'ada. 4 letters. These have different meanings. This means to appoint. For fixed time or place. So if you appoint someone for a fixed time, for a fixed duration, or at a fixed place, the word for that is wa'ada. Okay, 4 letters with an alif here. Okay, wa'ada means to make an appointment with someone for a fixed duration or for some fixed place. Okay? That means wa'ada. Now we also know that from the grammar of fa'ala, if we add a na at the end, fa'alna, this brings the meaning of we did. Fa'ala, this is to do. So by putting na at the end, it becomes the grammar of we did. We is plural and past tense. So if we do the same thing with these 4 letters, it will become wa'adna. Wa'adna means we appointed. We appointed for a fixed time or fixed duration. Here we is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Okay, so Allah says, وَإِذْ وَعَدْنَا and when we appointed. Okay. And when we appointed. We is here Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So the meaning so far is that and when we appointed. And when we appointed, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is talking about something in the past. Okay. We appointed Musa, which means we appointed for Musa, because he's talking about the Musa alayhi salam. So Allah says, in English we will say appoint for, okay, or appoint to. Okay. So when we appointed Musa alayhi salam, which is Moses, okay, the word arba'ina means 40. Arba'a means 4. Arba'ina means 40, 40. Okay. So when we appointed for Musa alayhi salam 40. Okay, so far. Then the next word is Laylatun. Laylatun means night. Laylatun is the original word with the 2 dhammas. Laylatun means night. Okay. Now, the rule is that this is a noun, okay? And if we have a sentence or a jumla where we have a file plus fail plus, and I'll explain to you, we have done it several times, maf'ul, okay, file, fail. This is a complete sentence where you have a doer, file is a doer, fail is an action, and maf'ul is something you are working on, okay. For example, if I say, I gave you a pen, if I say, I gave you a pen, so I am the doer, what I am giving is pen, you are the one who is receiving. So in Arabic and English, this is a complete sentence, okay? So what is happening here, in this case, the word is wa'adna, wa'adna. Wa'adna means we appointed.
So fa'al is basically the subject.
This subject object.
Yeah. So
Maf'ul is object. Maf'ul is. So we appointed. We is the doer here. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Appointed is the action. And what was appointed? Night. Object or maf'ul. So the simple thing is that whenever ism or a noun comes after this kind of verb, then two dhammas change to two fathas. That is the bottom line of this thing. In Arabic, whenever a noun comes after a verb, its two dhammas change into two fathas. That is the rule. Okay? So by itself the word is laylatun, but when it comes after a verb, it will be pronounced as laylatan. Okay, and that's what the word is in the Quran. Meaning does not change. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, when we appointed for Musa alayhi salam 40 nights. Now, night includes days also, which means for a duration of 40 days and 40 nights, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala commanded Musa alayhi salam to go the mountain, Mount of Tur, and worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala there. Okay? So, this is what is the meaning so far, that we appointed for Musa alayhi salam 40 nights to worship. Okay?
is it the same story that also Musa alayhi salam initially gone for 30 days, but he stayed 40 nights? Is it the same ayah? Refers to same ayah?
Yeah. So what happened? Bani Israel had just migrated, as I mentioned, from Egypt, and they were staying. They did not have a home or a town to live. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala commanded Musa alayhi salam to go to the mountain and worship there for 40 nights and days. So when Musa alayhi salam was gone there, what did Bani Israel do? One of their magician, so-called magician, made a calf of gold, a baby cow of the gold. And there is a long story behind that. In the Quran, details are there, and we will see those at other places. So he said to the people that this is your God. Musa alayhi salam forgot, and he went to the mountain. So people started worshipping that baby cow. So that is the second part of the ayah. Now Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is addressing Bani Israel saying, ثُمَّ اتَّخَذْتُمُ الْإِجْلَ. When Musa was gone, you chose a baby cow. Al-Ijla means a calf or a baby cow. Okay? وَأَنْتُمْ ظَالِمُونَ, and you are wrongdoers. So this is a direct address to the Jews, the Bani Israel. So let's look at this part of the ayah.